Hello fellow writers, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle Winkler and I'm an indie author in training. On my channel I post videos about my self-publishing journey and share some of the mistakes I made so hopefully you don't have to make them too. In my last video we talked about how to format your book, as in like the how. Who should do it? Should you do it yourself or should you hire someone? That kind of thing. I'm going to link that in the description below in case you missed it. Today we're going to talk about what to format. And I have a visual aid. My book, Dust on the Altar, is out and I'm gonna use this to show you the what of formatting, because there's a lot of different parts to formatting a book. Not just the interior, but the exterior, and all that. The external is a little less decision, so we'll start with that. So on the external, there are certain standards in publishing for the size of books. Hardcover versus paperback, trade paperback, and all that. Your choice on the width and height is going to depend a little bit on the thickness, because if you write a 500-page book, you can go with a bigger cover than a 200-page book. Because with a 200-page book, it's going to be really skinny. And especially with paperbacks, like hardcovers isn't a big deal, but with paperbacks, it's going to be very flimsy. So what I would suggest is taking books that have a similar amount of pages as yours and look at the different sizes and see how they compare. Just look on your bookshelf, find different books, and kind of do a little overall estimate of what you think a good size for your thickness of book would be. So the outside, that's pretty simple. So on the interior of the book, there are 3 sections you're concerned with, and they are, I'm going to separate it out here. You've got the front matter, which is pages like the title page, the other title page, yes there's 2, the copyright page. Then you have the body, which is the story itself. And then you have the back matter, which is like your acknowledgements page or about the author, things like that. There's not a set standard of what pages you have to include, really. I mean, I looked through a lot of traditional books and they all vary a little bit. The only ones you have to include are the copyright page and a title page. There's a lot of other things that could be in the front matter. They could be accolades, like if you have quotes from reviewers. There could be a dedication page, a table of contents, a preface, and a foreword. Most indie books don't have the preface, foreword, and accolades, but you can put those in if you want. I'm also going to quickly go over the back matter because there's a lot less choices in there than there are in the body. So some of the back matter pages you would have are acknowledgements, like people who helped you out, a glossary if you have a lot of words that are difficult to pronounce, especially epic fantasy. A lot of times the names and things are difficult to pronounce. 2 things as an indie author I really recommend putting in the back of the book, and I didn't do this in my first one, but I've learned my lesson. So one is a page asking for an honest review and with a link to subscribe to your newsletter if you have one. If you don't have a newsletter, you need to get one. We'll do a video on that later. So you can put those 2 on one page. Another thing I've seen a lot of is a teaser. Like if this is book 1 in a series and you already have a good section of book 2, you can put a little teaser for book 2 in there. That way when they get done reading the first one, they know, oh, there's another one I can go read, and they'll get a little taste of what that second book is like. So now we come to the long list. So this list of things to choose in the body is not an exhaustive list. I believe there are probably some other decisions you might have to make, but this gives you a general idea of the types of choices you have and how many there are. So you have the chapter title. You can have a name or just a chapter number or whatever, but that chapter title needs to be a specific amount down from the top of the page, and that needs to be the same every single chapter. It's your choice how far down you want it. I've seen books that put it about halfway, others put it 2/3 of the way, but it needs to be obviously separated from the top of the page. And then where you start your book, one of your first choices is, do you want drop caps or not? Drop caps are this little section where the first letter is a lot bigger than the next letter in the same word. And setting these drop caps was really difficult for me because I kept running into the problem of each letter is a slightly different size. And so on one letter, like the T would be fine, it wouldn't be a problem, but then I'd use that same measurement, the same size of that for another letter like an A, and how the A slants outward, it'll run into the word of the next line down. So you have to really do a lot of fiddling with those drop caps, make sure that each and every letter looks consistent. There's a lot of different choices when it comes to drop caps, and it's totally a style choice. You can even not have them if you don't want. The first paragraph of the chapter needs to be justified on both sides so that you get this nice straight line on either side of the page. What font is kind of a personal choice, but you do want to make it something that's kind of easy to read. You don't want to make it too fancy a font. The margins are important. They will usually be decided a little bit based on your publisher, not publisher, but your like print on demand company, whoever you send the books through. When you go to upload, they might tell you what size margins to use, so I would check that before you make any final decisions. And then there are some standards, and these I found most books do have these. Page numbers are in the footer of every page except the first page of the chapter, the front matter, and the back matter. When you're going along numbering your pages, you want to make sure that the last page in the chapter has a number, but then the first page of the next chapter does not, and then the next page does, and it follows the same numbering. A lot of books will have the author's name on one side and the title's name on the other. I think it looks really professional, but I haven't seen any consistency as to which side is which. So maybe look at books that you've enjoyed and you like the layout of and decide based on that. And that's another thing where on the first page of the chapter you don't want to have anything showing in the header. Now the header and the footer are the most complicated part I've found, because of course I use Word. I didn't use a program or hire someone, but if you're using Word, that's the part that took me the longest. It literally took me days, because every time I made a change to one part of it, it messed up something else. So just be aware, that's a difficult part. Maybe it'll go easy for you. I hope it does. I think that's it. If I've missed any part of the formatting that you have questions about, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to make another video, or I'll just reply to you. And I know that was a lot of information to take in. You don't have to deal with it all at once, especially if you're hiring a professional or using a program. They will take you step by step through it. You only have to make one choice at a time. It is your book. You need to have it look the way you want. Just keep in mind you kind of need to follow similar to what everyone else is doing. Otherwise your book will stand out as unprofessional. I'm always looking to improve and give you better content, so let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. And if you've formatted a book before, let us know how it went. Did you hire someone or did you manage to do it all yourself? Sign up for my newsletter for updates, sneak peeks, and exclusive content. Please click like if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already to help my channel grow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Another thing which I've seen in a lot of books is the author's name on one side, and ooh, I don't want to give you spoilers for all you sneaky people like me who sometimes stop videos to read things. I'm not going to show you chapter 18 or whatever that was. I'm going to show you chapter 1. All right, so somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. If I clean up my office, I might be able to find things easier. So today I have a visual aid.